welcome to another episode of Masters of the Forge. I'm Snorre, and with me in the gender-neutral recording cave, is that right?
Yeah, it's Adam. Hi,
Yeah.
everyone.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Oh, my goodness gracious. It's been a really long time since we offered any real hobby content to our listeners. It's nice to be back.
Yes, we did make a attempt just before Christmas, but like that Star Wars thing that's legendary, it was kind of that bad.
Yeah, we may have even spoken Sherwook throughout. I'm not sure. But that show is dead. It will never see the light of day.
Yeah, especially now that I sort of accidentally deleted it because I was installing Linux to.
Sort of accidentally.
Yeah, exactly. It was like
Kind of
conveniently.
accidentally.
Yeah, it would not have happened if Adam had just asked me to, or yeah,
Yeah.
Adam asked me a question a couple of hours after. It was like, "Hey, do you still have that thing? Can you just cut out some of the bits and just?" Yeah, I have some friends who would like to listen to it, even if it's horrible. I was like, "You should have asked me a couple of hours ago because it's gone now."
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
that was
that's one of those con moments.
no, oh, it was awful though. I
Oh,
I didn't listen to it, but I know by how much fun it was and how drunk I was that
yeah,
it must have been really horrible.
that is pretty much the operative word, drunk. It was a really good idea. Just it was Camille, Adam, Jim, as in Big Jim from Deep Strike, and me on the air talking for just I think 3 hours.
Mhm.
And I think the most coherent discussion we had was about how good it was that George Lucas had given up on Star Wars and someone else had taken over directing that thing. That tells you something about how bad it was.
It really does.
We
Yeah,
did have
I
a
mean,
lot of fun.
Poor Jim trying to talk about. Poor Jim was trying to talk about um
Warzone.
Warzone and stuff. Like that part was as we were getting drunk, so he actually was like, giving us some good. So he was talking about it and I learned a lot about it, but I don't remember a lot of it.
Yeah. So, we have to do something for Jim since we kind of ruined his chance to talk about Warzone.
Yeah.
So he will be on later this year.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure he'll be on very soon. If not at a specific episode, we'll definitely record something at Adepticon. That's for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be fun. So, what the hell have you been up to, Snorri?
Mm, not much.
Been up to
Uh,
some stuff.
yeah, I have. We did play an apocalypse game just before Christmas. That was an interesting experience. It was a really fun game. Team Evil won, so that's kind of nice. I
Mhm.
was part of Team Evil, being Death Guard, so hooray for me! I actually participated in winning a game, even though I think I didn't really contribute that much.
Team
Apart from
games are great, man. Any game where you team up with other people, just find the good people and you can finally win a game. It's great.
yeah,
Even if your role is bait.
yeah, I think I was pretty much like a speed bump for some of the Grey Knights. It was actually a really cool setting because we had Imperial versus Xenos and Chaos. And
Mhm.
Imperium started off at the top of the first turn, and Team Evil, we started at the bottom of first. So as we start, suddenly, I think we had 10, 15,000 points per side on the table at that point. When we start our first movement turn, suddenly there's a couple of thousand points of demons just popping up. Oops. And at the top of the second turn, a couple of thousand points of Grey Knights just turn up.
Uh-oh.
So it was sort of a two-way and sort of a four-way game. It was kind of confusing. Stuff was taken off the table in droves. I think buckets is probably the correct term. There was so much destruction going on over the place. It was kind of hilarious.
Oh man, that's the way a game of apocalypse has to be. So you
Yeah,
did it right.
yeah. I don't remember how many Bane blades we had. I think we had something like 3 or 4 Bane blades on the table. We had a Thunderhawk. We had a Greater Demon of Nurgle, as in Greater Unclean One. Uh, I showed up with a bunch of my Death Guard. Basically, the Imperial side was we had agreed that we were supposed to show up with X amount of 1,000 points per side.
Mhm.
The first thing that I heard was agreed upon on the Imperial side was that Ole, our resident, plays just about everything but has a really beautiful Tau army, shows up with the entire first company of Ultramarines. Marnius Calgar, Terminators, Honor Guards, Thunderhawks, yeah, destruction all over the place. But, Calgar was taken off the field and came back. Because, Calgar can't die.
No, no.
In the end, like I said, Team Evil won, but I think the real winner was the Grey Knights, because they managed to kill Typhus and the Greater Unclean One.
No.
Yes.
Ah.
So it was a fun experience. We did learn a lot from it. Next time we're doing this, and we are going to do this at some point, we are going to do this over 2 days, and we're going to have like 3 turns one day and 2 turns the other day, and try to slow down a little bit because we had to rush it a little bit too much. We managed to play 3.5 turns. We didn't bother playing the bottom of the third turn, of the fourth turn, because the game was decided already. We just we looked at the table. Okay, so if we play this, this and this and this is going to happen, and that's not going to change anything. Yeah, let's just call it. We're
Yeah,
all
you only
really
you only want
tired.
to play it until it's not fun anymore, right?
Yeah, part of the time we were actually not even bothering rolling dice. We're just like, okay, so I'm going to attack this, and that's probably going to result in about this many casualties. You can roll some saves and see how many of those theoretical casualties will actually die. And it was like, yeah, okay, just removing stuff and doing it almost diceless at certain points. It was fun.
Hmm. Oh, great! That's freaking awesome, dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really great. I like that. I like that we're getting games in, and really actually having content to generate for the listeners. I think
yeah.
that's really important.
Yeah, some news about the club is that
Mhm.
we also seem to have secured, or more or less secured, a new place to play, because we've been playing at one of the guys' workplace and we can't play it anymore because they're gonna remodel or something. So we had to find some place new to play, and it seems like that's more or less in the bag. So yay! And I've
Nice,
been
dude.
painting. Uh,
Yeah, yes, you have been painting.
as the people who follow us on Facebook,
Mhm.
yes, I posted some pictures of a Hellbrute because I decided it was time to build something, and I felt
Yeah.
like doing something big.
And that's definitely the Hellbrute kit, right? Not the Hellbrute from Dark Vengeance, right?
That is the kit, yes. I don't have the
Yeah.
Hellbrute from Dark Vengeance.
Okay. Yeah, I could pretty much tell because like you had a bunch of different options there
Yeah,
that are different, and I thought that is such a great model. It's too bad that the Hellbrute did come in Dark Vengeance, and folks, of course they're going to use the model that they have to build what they want because that Hellbrute kit is gorgeous. It's got so many cool options.
it's a very nice kit. It's kind of rigid in terms of
Hmm.
posing. You do have a
Yeah.
couple of options for whether you want the arms up or down.
Hmm.
That is actually different plates that you insert on the sides of the Dreadnought body. And then,
Right.
well, Dreadnought, there you go. Hellbrute.
Hmm. You,
Uh,
you can call it a dreadnought if you
it
want.
is. But yeah, and depending on which plates you take on the sides, then that determines where the arms are. But it's it's still kind of monopose, and I don't really like that. But it's still posable enough that you can make some variety.
Mhm. Yeah, no, and you can do some cutting if you really wanted to, but to be perfectly honest, I think you'd only do that if you have if you're running a giant Hellbrute army, which I have some friends who like doing that, but my friends who do that have all kinds of dreadnoughts. Like my buddy Pat loves to run his Hellbrute Chaos Dreadnought army, which is all kinds of crazy Nurgle themed dreadnoughts, which are beautiful. Like he's got one where he removed the chest plate from a regular dreadnought and put a skull wrapped in chains inside the body.
Nice.
Oh, so cool. Yeah, I love Chaos Dreadnoughts. Even though they're I guess not that competitive. Dude, they're just so fluffy and cool and if you run enough of them, some of them are going to get in close combat for sure.
Yeah, my plan is to build at least two more so I can have one of those murder packs, I
Oh
think it's
yeah.
called. The one
Yeah.
with three brutes and they can deep strike, precision deep
Yep.
strike or something. And,
Yep.
it's interesting looking. I have never tried it, so I can't say for sure, but
Mhm.
I want to try it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I have another friend who loves corn, uh, and he loves running the one where you can put cultists in front and they
Oh,
provide
yeah.
a save. That's really really cool too. It's a neat
Yeah,
little formation.
yeah. And the paint scheme I decided to go for on this guy was sort of like a Heresy era original Death Guard Legion paint scheme, and
Yeah.
not like the muddy green, dirty look. So it's a lot cleaner looking than my others, but at the same time, that paint scheme is actually really nice. So even though I promised myself and one of my buddies, I'm not doing 30k Death Guard, the bone white with the green shoulder pads and the gold trim. Wow, that is such a beautiful color scheme.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've gotten. Oh man, dude, I've gotten such an itch to start trying 30K, and it's just I just can't. 2015 can't be the year where I forsake everything and start 30K. I just can't do it.
Well, you have your Space Marines, so you can probably have some proxy games going
Mhm.
and just try out the rule set at
That's
least.
a good point.
That's
I can
what
at
I
least
plan to
try it
do.
out. Yep, good idea. Good idea. Dude, I've also had like this tickle in my mind of doing Corsairs ever since we've been talking about spaceships and spacefaring and Eldar and Dark Eldar combined. I've been thinking, oh, how cool would it be to have like a bunch of raiders with some Dark Eldar and some Eldar and like one each of all the jets that they have, like the Eldar and Dark Eldar jets, and just
Yeah.
run like a cool Corsairs list and paint it all white and red. Ah, and then I think to myself, you need to quit your job if you're going to do that.
Yeah, but you can't do that because you need your job because, well, you gotta pay for all those fancy
Yeah.
models.
Yeah, and I need to keep my wife. That's good. If she leaves me, she's taking the dogs, and we can't have that.
Yeah.
What else have you been
So,
up to, Snorri?
uh, not much. Working, uh, Christmas happened, New Year's
Mm,
happened, though that was mostly just sitting at home, relaxing, family
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
get a single piece of plastic for Christmas, but I'm actually
mhm,
happy about that.
yeah, yeah. I also did not ask for plastic for Christmas. I have plenty. My wife did threaten to wrap the Necron she gave me last year and give those to me again for Christmas this year because I haven't built them yet. Instead, she got me the hardback Calvin and Hobbes, complete Calvin and Hobbes with the introduction by Bill Watterson. That was amazing. That thing weighs a ton.
Yeah, I have the complete Calvin and Hobbes on my shelf too.
Oh
From
my
they
god.
released it many many years ago. It's
Yep.
like one book each year for a while. It's a
So
just a
good.
hilarious comic.
Oh, it's
And
just
speaking of Necrons, actually, I sold all my Necrons to a friend of mine.
ah,
So now I've gone from four armies, which are for the most part not painted and
mhm,
mostly not assembled, to three armies that are, well, the percentage of painted stuff is now slightly higher, but
mhm,
I still have a ton of Tau stuff that I need to get rid
mhm.
of.
Dude, I've been thinking about selling my Space Marines.
No, you can't do that.
Like it's not that I don't like them. I love playing the Space Marines. They're so fun, but just the paint jobs are so bad compared to what I can do. I don't know. Maybe I'll just get some secret weapon miniatures like weathering powders and just gunk up the ones that look bad just to make them look like that's on purpose.
Well, they were talking about this on the last episode of Independent Characters that maybe you should just sit down and do that hour of hobby and just repaint stuff, just like touch up stuff that needs to be better
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with my Space Marines is they're that metallic, so I'd have to paint them silver and wash them purple multiple times, and it's gonna start losing detail. Having said that, it is Space Marine, so it's not like there's some amazing detail on those tactical Marines that's gonna get covered up by spraying them silver again, to be honest. So maybe I'll try it with one squad. I'll try it with the worst squad, Squad 6 of Third Company. It is just horrible. I might just spray that whole squad with silver paint and do it all over again and see what it looks like. That's a good idea. And you know what? Tuttle time. That's what it's hashtag Tuttle time. It's a good idea, and it's starting to. It's a good thing.
Carl is going to hate you.
Sure. So so I guess I should. I did a lot of stuff this month, and I hope it doesn't bore you out there. But here it goes. Christmas. Christmas. Working backwards. I do want to talk about the gift that Wendy and I gave my little brother-in-law Brandon. I say little; he's like 6.5 feet tall, but whatever. Um, he just turned 18, and I think I've spoken about him before, right, Snorri?
Yes, you have.
Yeah, I've been trying to get him into the hobby, trying to get him to do stuff that isn't terrible with his life. So
Trying to get him out of trouble by getting him into trouble.
yeah, or just he's not the kind of kid who gets in trouble though. He's like a really cool kid, and he's got a good head on his shoulders. I'm just saying I wanted him to I just wanted him to get involved in something fun like this, and yeah, he has spent some money, but he's collecting blood angels, and I thought he asked his parents, or he put on his list like an army carrying solution for Christmas. So Wendy and I knocked our heads together a little bit, and we're like, what do I do? This, do that, do this, do that. And it was getting kind of late in the season, so we had to get something that would arrive by Christmas. Well, Battle Foam was a little wishy-washy about when they would arrive, and also, like I said before, my for my personal armies, I'm pretty much going to be going, KR from now on, because everything I listen to is supported by KR. So I'm the kind of person who feels like, you should support the things that you involve yourself in. And it's a good product. I think Masters of the Forge should always remain we should remain neutral in the Bag Wars saga, if you will. I hope you agree, Snorri.
We are the true neutral of the podcasts.
Yes, we're the Switzerland of the Bag Wars, but I think it was the right choice to go with KR. They helped us out. Kath from their office in Michigan really helped me out. I was having trouble with the website, and she set me straight, got me a product list, and we figured out what he needed. I got him a KR3 with like their basic foam, and Carl's sending me a piece of foam he had laying around for a model he doesn't have anymore. So he opened that up for Christmas, and he was so excited. And then there was an additional present from Santa, because
Those are always nice.
yeah, because the FedEx man delivered the bag into our garage, and Wendy started up the car and backed it up and ran over the box.
Who
She
puts this
called
stuff
me
like
crying.
right behind the car in a garage?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I understand trying to keep it out of the rain, but oh my goodness. So
Yeah, it's like, what about just putting it on top of the car or something? The
or something
chances of scratching the car are minimal.
like right by the driver's side door, like where you're
Yeah,
liable to see it. Anyways, she called me crying. She's like, "You're gonna kill me." I'm like, "I doubt it." But what did you break? No, you're gonna kill me. Like, what did you break? And she told me she ran over the box. I said, "Open the box," because I knew. I'm like, no, you know what? These are army carry cases.
it's
Open the
foam.
bag. Open the box. Let's see what happened. She opened the box, and basically two of the KR boxes had some creases in them, but the foam was fine. And the bag was fine. The box it was in was torn to shit. Beep. Was torn to crap, but everything inside was fine. So I shot an email off to Kath thanking her for sending it way before Christmas, and basically telling her that my wife went over the box because of the FedEx delivery person, and everything was fine, and just a few creases.
Yeah, it's
I
like,
was
wow,
lauding I
KR.
was lauding how great the bag was, right? Come to find out, she sends me two more KR boxes full of foam because I was like, "Did you send me more foam?" She said, "Yeah, to replace the ones that were broken." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, it wasn't broken, was it? It was just like, yeah, there's some dents
There's
in
some
it.
creases, some dents. Yeah, that was so cool. Great customer service. I can't wait to work with KR in the future. Had a great
Yeah,
experience with them. And like that
I
we don't advertise on this show, but I will always regale people with stories of good customer service or good products from other companies.
yeah, I will be acquiring some KR before I leave for Adapticon simply because it's the most available
Mhm.
foam for me because they're based in the UK.
Yeah. So, and you know what? I think actually the foam in the boxes in the cases actually it seems like it seems like customs is too lazy to get into the boxes also. Unlike the battle foam, they open it up, or the GW cases where they're opening it up and there's models like visible. Instead they're like, "Oh my god, more boxes! These Russian nesting dolls." No, I'm done.
Yeah,
But I would still recommend maybe putting some masking tape over your foam like trays. Like when you have a row of infantry models, I might suggest like just taking a strip of masking tape and putting it over the rows. That way, if they do go into your boxes and take them out, the models won't go flying onto the floor or whatever. That's just my suggestion. And masking tape shouldn't hurt your foam, I don't think.
no, probably not.
So that was pretty much Christmas. I played a bunch of games. I played against Jay Holt. Well, I played with Jay Holt in a team game. My memories of that game are so foggy; it's not worth mentioning.
J
Uh,
Holt being Jason, who
yes,
made the dulcet piano tones to your "It's a Good Feeling"
yep,
song.
that's right. Yeah, Jason. He's from Texas and he's living here in Albany now. And he I played a game with him. He brought we're trying out some lists because we're gonna be doing a campaign soon between my orcs and his blood blood ravens, yeah. So it's going to be the orcs are going to try to find some relics and some books to help them summon forth Tuska. So the blood ravens are also looking for these relics, and it'll be a battle between them to see who can acquire these items first.
So he's playing the loyalist Thousand Sons then.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah. I mean, we're all leaving it up to, we're not gonna state that directly, but yes, the loyalist thousand sons. So that was a fun game. That dude, that chapter master on bike. That thing is so crazy. But we both brought some kind of crazy lists. I brought a super crazy list because I came prepared for combat patrol plus some foam. So I had like a Death Dread in there, and and I was all on foot. I had commandos with Snick Rot and stuff I haven't used in so long. I'll tell you what though, that I had some mechs and stuff, and that Death Dread made it across the table. He did. It was awesome. You know,
Sometimes those crazy games are the best simply because you feel like, okay, let's just try this because I haven't played it in so long, and then you find you just like rediscover your love
mm,
for certain units, even though
yeah,
you can't play them in a competitive game. You can still have fun with them.
yeah. The game was really anchored by the dreadnoughts. Like the Death Dread made an 11-inch charge.
Wow.
It was amazing, and he got stuck in with the chapter masters unit with the librarian and the apothecary, and they fought for several turns while the chapter master tried banging against the hull with his thunderhammer and didn't never quite really got to him. And even by the end of the game, like the Death Dread was standing there and had to be killed by a melt gun by a random unit. It was great. And then on the other side of the table, my he had dropped in a what do you call it, ironclad dreadnought in a drop pod and was toasting up boys. And then I sent Mad Doc over there to take care of that, and poor Mad Doc couldn't kill the dang thing with his strength 8 power claw, so he kept on swinging and swinging and nothing was happening. It was really funny the way the two dreadnoughts kind of anchored that game. It was really fun.
I have a similar experience when I played Ola's orcs a while back. Those death dreads sometimes they're almost impossible to kill. I think it's some kind of WOG power.
Mm. Yep. I mean, it's really neat that the the grot riggers now give them it will not die, and if you put some mechs with them, they'll help repair. It's just against like things like Eldar, they get toasted by the serpent shields and stuff really quickly, and it's just like not fun. But if you play against somebody who brings an all comers list, if you're running, if you're running Highlander, it's pretty viable. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Um, Now we had no and last week at the store I played against my buddy John. I'm not going to talk about that game quite yet, but at the store we had 20 people show up for 40K.
Oh, that was the Highlander tournament?
No, 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 dude, more people showed up to the store last week than showed up to the Highlander tournament. We had 20 just
Wow.
regular players show up. There were like several people who were just starting the game too, or either just getting back into it or just starting it. Um,
Random game night?
yeah, random. We have every Monday we have a 40K night. So it was really cool to have these guys show up. So we're gonna do what we can to keep those to keep those people. There's every game group has people that you don't want the new kids to play against. It's like, all
Yeah.
right, who's jumping on the grenade, who's gonna lay their bodies over the grenade so that the new kids have a have a good game.
Yeah.
But that's
I,
what you
I
have
guess
to
you're
do.
talking about the kind of people who just can't play soft.
They can't play soft, or they just have weird personalities that might turn people away at first.
Oh, okay.
And it's just most of us have come to accept. I like quirky people. I approve, but some folks you just want to shelter them at first in case they're the kind of person that can't handle that kind of personality.
Sort of like with certain types of alcohol. It's an acquired taste.
Yeah, some people are an acquired taste, that's for sure. But yeah, speaking of the tournament, it turned out awesome. We had so much fun. There were like, even though there was a snowstorm that morning or the night before, a lot of people showed up. Some people came from downstate, from like the Long Island or Poughkeepsie area. and I really appreciated that folks were willing to drive that far to play in our games.
So the teaser ad we made, trying to capture that whole snowstorm feel, that fell massively short then.
Yeah, it was pretty legit. I think the feel of the tournament was well accompanied by Mother Nature's wrath. That's for sure. We had so I'm not going to go into the full details of the standings and stuff. I do want to say that the the players really reacted well to the Highlander format. They really liked that a lot. I took a vote. I took a vote at the end. I said, "Listen, no hard feelings. Please be honest. This is going to shape how we do tournaments in the future. Raise your hand if you loved this format." Everybody but one guy raised their hand. And I said, "All right, who's like so about it?" And that guy raised his hand. So like
He
that
didn't hate it,
he didn't
but he
hate it,
didn't
but
love
he
it.
could take it or leave it. And everybody else
Yeah,
loved it. They like legit wanted to see it again. So we're gonna continue Highlander in the future. The article I wrote in for Frontline got a little contentious. Like I was talking about how great the format ended up being, and some folks really thought I was on my soapbox about it. I guess, and I was just
yeah,
saying, I was just regaling folks with the results of the format and how people liked it. I didn't mean to I didn't mean to be like a preach it, you know.
yeah. Any surprises in the outcome?
Um, to be honest, not particularly. The interesting thing is that one of the big arguments against this format is some of the armies are a little hamstrung by not being able to take more than one of a unit, and um, a lot of folks said that Eldar couldn't compete, and Eldar won the tournament.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. Eldar won the tournament. Carissa's Ian and Eldar won with 4 wins. She did a really good job of kind of playing to the mission and playing to the army that she was facing, and just squeaking by on most of her games. Uh, Obviously, this is due to the fact that I used a I used a pairing system called Swiss, which is you pit people who don't give points. So if someone plays so well that they don't give you any points, like they give you you don't score more than a few points, then those people are paired together. Those are people that make it hard for you to score points. So that's the reason why her battle points is really low, but she won 4 games. But that's a sign of how hard she played. And the people she played were very difficult to play against.
Yeah, I like the Swiss system because it does take them a little bit of time. If you do it completely how it's supposed to be, then
Mhm.
everyone plays everyone for a whole round,
Mhm.
and then you decide who actually starts playing each other, and then you start giving the points.
Yeah.
Simply because then you have everyone starts with the most ideal player to start against
Mhm.
to get an even match.
Yeah, and to have fun, right? And I think folks had a lot of
Yeah,
fun. I think that's the main thing, right? So the other top players were a Grey Knights Ultramarines player, a Deathwing player, a Sisters of Battle player, and an Orcs player, and that was out of a field of 14 or so people, which is really nice to see. Sisters of Battle bring a lot to a tournament like that. They have the Melta, they have the Flamers, they have they have a lot of tools to get a lot of jobs done. It's just in a regular format, they're just overwhelmed by this spam, these spam shooting and assaulting that makes life so difficult for them. But in the Highlander format, they can hold their own. Phil's Deathwing, he brought 2 people brought Deathwing and they did pretty well. This is the kind of thing I love to see. I'm excited that all these varieties of armies can come and people can have fun and actually compete. I know this isn't a competitive format podcast, but I just wanted to let everybody know how much fun that was, and talk about it.
Yep. It's a different feel to the the normal way of doing this.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, it's a lot more fair. It's a lot more competitive too. Like a lot of folks are like, well, you just allow everything, yada yada yada, and it's like I can understand that, especially for like friendly play, as long as as long as you're being fair about it, with your opponent, that's great. But I think for competitive play, I think it's more competitive to do Highlander because more armies are on an even playing field, which creates more difficult players to play against, which means you're actually testing yourself more than you would if you were bringing an army that was already better by its very nature. Do you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. It's not anti Death Star spam, but it definitely makes Death Stars less common, and it's a different way to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say most people, but a lot of people probably like and should like definitely the challenge of being challenged in that way. That sounds stupid, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, no problem, bud.
It's like the challenge of actually pushing yourself to find out how to make a good army in the Highlander format is something that people should find enjoyable, because when you manage to crack that, you can probably do a lot better and
Mhm.
find different ways of doing things instead of just relying on the tried and tested internet spam lists.
Yeah. So I also want to talk quickly about the appearance prize. Um, a fella came up from down south, from downstate, named Rob. He's involved with the Battle for Salvation, I think, and his army is ridiculous. He has a Matrix inspired Chaos Space Marines army, and his Matrix inspired Helldrake is out of control. I will post a link to the tournament results in the show notes, just so folks can take a look at this model. It is unreal what he's done with this model. It is completely unreal. He's got it looks like all of his models look like the robots from that movie and that series. The with the like poses and red eyes and it's
Nice.
just so cool. It's just so cool. But I think that's all I have to talk about. I've been painting scouts like crazy all month, and I'm just I think I might finish them this weekend, but we'll see. Not much to go into there except I hate edge highlighting so much. Like I'm putting white highlights on black, and I'm like, what is this? What am I doing? I hate this. I mean, it would look to anybody who like really follows and enjoys, you know, standard GW style painting, but I just think it's dumb. I'm, I, I don't. I hate saying it, but I just think it's dumb. I hate edge highlighting.
I was thinking about Drew Sizemore, a guy I met. He's a listener, and I met him in San Jose when I was over there for Jason Mullins's wedding. And he used to have a lot of edge highlighted models. And when done right, it looks really cool. But I guess it depends on who does it and what kind of models you're doing it on. Because I've also seen some edge highlighting stuff that looks so overdone in a way. It's not like it's intentionally overdone, it just looks weird because I guess the contrast becomes too great and then it starts looking crazy.
Yeah, it looks like Tron.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I don't want to. I don't want to insult anyone. I just wish I didn't. I wish I could finish these scouts without doing it. But they're almost done. I'm very excited that they're almost done. After this, I have one more project, and then I can get into the Titans.
Who are mocking you still
um,
after a year.
yeah, yeah. I also did Orcs event, but I think we should talk about that when we talk about our quick little year in review segment we're gonna have before we talk about the Diggaz.
Yes, so we'll be right back after probably Wendy says some pretty words about something cool.
Take it away, Wendy.
Are you looking for a good hobby blog? Are you in need of a tutorial? Maybe you just want some inspiration to help you get started. Well, look no further than the 40K Hobbyist. Drew is a 40K hobby veteran with more than a decade of GW hobby experience under his belt. Follow one man's journey through the hobby as he dabbles in new experiences such as Forge World Titans, building terrain tables, starting new Space Marine chapters, and much, much more. Stop in for modeling tips, tutorials, bits theory discussions, and just to see some darn cool models. If you have any questions, you can always email him, leave a comment on his blog, or reach him through Facebook. He's always willing to do whatever he can to help expand the hobby and make you feel the best painter that you can be. Stop in and check out the 40K Hobbyist at 40khobbyist.blogspot.com. That's 40khobbyist.blogspot.com, or find him on Facebook.
And with that, I think we're ready to talk about what all the other podcasts have been talking about for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
What has happened in 2014, and do we actually have any plans for next year? Or this year, technically.
Yeah, yes and yes. The answer is yes to both of those questions. So let's
Well,
answer those
it's
questions.
good. It's good you have any plans.
You have plans. You have plans with me.
Oh, right. That's this year.
That is this year.
It's like Carl said. There's only 100 days or so. It's not even that now.
It's so soon.
It's amazing.
It's so soon. I have so much to do.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god. I have so much to do.
But hey, you do actually have the tickets and everything sorted now. I saw.
Yeah. Yep. We're all set. We're all ready to go.
Yep.
So 2014 was an interesting year. There was a lot of hobby stress on my part in 2014 that it was completely my fault. Like everything from the Titans to doing commission work to making my brain writing checks my body can't cash, but the beginning of the year started off kind of mellow. We're basically coming up with a format for the show, discussing the show for the first until like April, right? We didn't start until after Adepticon came back. Like we had it recorded, but it wasn't edited completely. Because I remember at Adepticon 2014, I did that interview with David Annandale, and we were trying to get some episodes in the bank, as it were, which doesn't happen anymore. So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. Coming up with the show. I'm happy for the show. I'm glad we have the show. I think it's a fun show. I think it adds something to the community, which is important. Like we're not rehashing a lot of the stuff that other people are doing. I mean, we do stuff that's not bringing the world of 40K to your tabletop related, but we always, except on rare occasions, have that kind of format in the show.
Yeah, I think Carl actually summarized this nicely on the last show of 2014. That we have our own kind of niche in 40K podcasting that we're doing. It's like gaming related, but not tournament related or competitive related. It's more about fluff and having fun on the tabletop.
Right. Yeah, and I really appreciate really appreciate Carl giving us some time there on his show to talk about Masters of the Forge. The community has been really kind to us. We've had some really nice comments in our Facebook page, on the blog, and in email. Some folks have been really kind. I've also gotten some messages in the independent characters message board, like messaging service. I should show you some of those messages, Snorri. They'll really warm your heart. A lot of people being very kind about the show and about what we're doing. Please feel free, especially folks who are really enjoying the show, please feel free to let us know if we stray too much at any point. I
Yeah.
do like talking about the tournaments I go to and stuff, but I also try to wrap my tournament play in a narrative, and I try to kind of give it context as well. So, um, please let us know how we're doing as we go. Let us know if it becomes too routine, and let us know if there's any way that you think that we can make things more interesting for you. I think
Hopefully,
that's
we're actually going to make it interesting by going back to episode 1 and 2 again. Next show. We're doing a book turned into a battle review.
okay. Yes, we are. I I thought
You
you were
totally
talking
forgot,
about
didn't
like
you?
going like redoing. I'm like, no, we're not.
No, we're not going to redo Death of Antagonists. We're going to do Battle of the Fang.
Battle of the Fang. Yeah, I'm reading it right now.
Yeah.
So are you, right? You're still reading?
Yeah, I'm not reading as fast as I would like to, but I've read the book already
Mhm,
once, so I guess that's part of the reason. It's like this is kind of familiar, but
mhm,
I still have to read it.
mhm. Yeah, no, it's really cool. It's a pretty cool book so far. But yeah, we're gonna delve into that probably one or two episodes. I'm not sure, depending on how it turns out. Um, but yeah, it's been great. Thank you, everybody. So I went to Adepticon last year. I had a lot of fun at Adepticon. I can't imagine not going to Adepticon. Uh, I honestly don't know. I can't think of a year I won't go to Adepticon unless I have severe health issues, which I'm trying to avoid. Like other trips, like for next year though, or for this year, we're going to Adepticon this year, right, Snoria? That's going to be a lot of
Yes.
fun.
Yep.
So much fun.
Topless drunk pillow fights in the room,
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
oh, did I mention that charity event that I'm going to put up?
Oh, I heard you mention something about.
You know, we had this Greg Dan kissing booth at the Black Library Weekender, and like someone mentioned, Greg Dan isn't the guy to repeat himself, and Greg Dan is also not going to Depticon, so I've decided to take up the what do you call? I'm gonna take the
Take the
torch.
mantle. Take up the mantle.
I'm gonna take the mantle, and I've actually decided to put on a drunken celebrity podcast karaoke night where we are going to gather as many podcasters as possible. Independent characters. Carl has said yes, he will be there. Jason is interested, and maybe I can get John in there too. We will do Def Leppard and Overlord's theme tunes live for you.
Oh, this is gonna
Dates to
be
be
this is
released.
this is gonna be glorious. I
Oh,
can't wait.
it's going to be fantastic.
I'm going to get so drunk, and I'm going to get my plan is to be arrested for 24 hours, or like go to jail overnight just to see what it's like. You know?
I can't do that because I want to go visit the US at some point
No,
in
I
the future.
understand. Yeah,
So
no, it's
I
totally
have to be a little bit careful.
yeah, understood. You can be the guy that's you. It will be when the cops come, they'll be like, "All right, who did the beer?" And we'll be like, "No, he's just our sound guy. That's all. He's just our sound guy. He's not
Yeah,
involved. He's from like another country. He's fine."
yeah. So keep an eye out for that. I'm gonna announce more people as they confirm, and
Mhm.
as soon as we get a location, then
Yep.
we're probably just gonna hijack the hotel bar or
Yeah.
something, and all proceeds go to a good cause.
If anybody's interested in playing in a Star Trek Attack Wing tournament at Adepticon, please sign up for it on the Adepticon website. I'm running one. We have several spots open still, so please get on there. There is some comp to the event, like some faction purity comp involved. There will be prize support. I was able to contact WizKids, and they are going to try to send us some prize support, or at least some promotional materials. They wanted me to run a D&D Attack Wing event. They're like, "Oh, you want to do this too?" I'm like, "I'd love to promote your Attack Wing event, but I don't your D&D event. But I don't have time to run another tournament."
Yeah. And
So,
of course, Star Trek really is your thing. D&D
yeah.
probably is your thing, but I don't get the impression that it's quite the same as Star Trek for you.
Yeah, it's weird. I think I just don't like the miniatures, the D&D Attack Wing miniatures. I don't know. I think they're kind of crappy, but whatever. Like, there's one model that is just a bolter, or not a bolter, a bolt thrower, like a arc. Not a, what do they call it?
Ballista?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, ballista. It's just like a giant ballista. It's all it is. Like, where's the crew? So it's a little weird.
Yeah.
But all right, yeah. Adepticon, other events. I was hoping to make the. I was like hoping to kind of try to convince the wife that we need to make a trip to California in 2015, but I don't think that's gonna happen. It's our 10-year anniversary, and nah.
Oh,
I really want to do a cruise, and I don't think we can do a cruise and a flight to California.
well, if you just delay it a year, then maybe we can arrange something, because I have to go to California soon. It's been, well, almost 2 years. Well, it's been a year and a half now since I've been in California, and I want to go there soon. So
yeah, I really want. Okay, so whoever picks us up from the airport, I want you to know right now. I'm gonna bring my phone, and I'm gonna have California by Dr. Dre, or was it California Love?
Dream?
California Dream, whatever.
No, California Love, yeah.
Yeah.
California Dreaming is something different.
So yeah, that's gonna be on my phone, and I'm gonna request that we play it obnoxiously in the car as we drive down the street for the first time. So I just putting that out there. So Wendy and I were talking about it, and she said, "All right, fine. If you can fit in the Comet, which is a local roller coaster, it's an old wooden roller coaster, and if I'm allowed to ride in that because I'm not too fat." By 2016, then we can go. And I have to fit comfortably. If I can fit comfortably in the Comet, that probably means I can fit comfortably in a coach plane seat.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna look at 2016. I think that'll be nice. It'll be nice if I can coincide it with like the Bay Area Open or something. That would be even better.
Yep.
What else did we do? What else did we do in 2014?
Purchase a whole bunch of codex books.
Yeah, all the codexes. You have a wall, don't you?
It's not quite a wall yet, but between the Games Workshop books and the Forge World books, it's at least filling up a shelf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I plan on. I bought the Orc Codex, and I love the Orc Codex along with all the supplements and stuff. It's just weird. There's so much Orc material in the campaign books that I have no way of actually purchasing all of that. I feel bad about like. I would. It just sucks, right? Because like I hate stealing things, but I can't buy all that right now. Can't they? I mean, I'd really like for them to release some kind of paperback of this stuff, or some kind of omnibus compilation of this stuff.
That was actually one of the things I was thinking of listening to one of the end of year episodes of the other podcast, was that Games Workshop has been putting out just about every single codex for 6th and 7th edition now. Necrons comes out in January, so says the rumors. What then? And I was thinking something like the Codex approved books that they gave out in the early days, mid-90s or so, where they basically just collect all the random articles that they have from different issues of White Dwarf Weekly, supplements of different kinds that have been like one-off printings, and just collect them into a nice, big, softcover book so that people can buy those rules. That would be nice.
I'm not looking to get something for nothing. I'm looking to get something I can afford.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not the kind of person who wants something for nothing. I hate that kind of mentality. But like, I want to be able to afford it. But yeah, that's what I'm hoping for next year. I'm hoping for some soft cover rules, some easy ways of collecting the rules. I'm definitely gonna buy the Necron Codex when it comes out. I really am considering the Shield of Baal, or not Shield of Baal. Yeah, the Shield of Baal, whatever. The Shield of Baal, Exterminatus, because it's got a Mephirit Dynasty detachment in it. Which, if you recall, my Necron army is going to be pretty much just warriors. It's like I have 155 warriors and a Necron Overlord in my back room right now, and waiting to be built. And this formation, or sorry, this detachment is 8 troops choices, and so I can take 8 units of warriors, a Necron Overlord, and the special rule for it is they get to re-roll their reanimation protocols if they come up a 1. So any reanimation protocol of a 1 gets re-rolled.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
The guy that I sold all my Necrons to, he tried it out. He was pretty excited.
Nice. That is awesome because that's exactly what I want to run. That they basically made that for me. I think someone out there said Adam needs a really cool detachment he can use for his Necron. So I'm hoping that there's a way to collect those formations and detachments without buying 80 books. I'm not gonna hold my breath, but that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, let's hope that we can avoid the whole Tyranid situation, where if you want to have everything that is for the Tyranids, you have to buy like, what, 4 data slates, a couple of supplements, and the codex, and
Yeah.
preferably some Forge World books.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not going to be a table space for models anymore.
Yeah, you're gonna break your back carrying the rules to your game, and it's not like there's much of a discount for getting the electronic version one either. So it's
Yeah,
not like
so
Pathfinder. Paizo, they sell their PDFs for like $10, and they're very successful with it. But let's not get into that nonsense, shall we?
nope.
What else did we do? We I did a lot of involvement with the independent characters, doing their hobby progress challenge, helping out with that, doing the counts, and trying to keep people motivated. I couldn't do a lot of motivation towards the end because I was using like unread posts as a way of seeing who I counted. So I couldn't like go in and read it without actually counting them. But there were a lot of folks who pitched in on that front. We talk about that in the independent characters episode that just came out at the end of the year. A lot of great folks helping out. A lot of great folks putting forth their best effort and hobby. Thousands of units were painted. Literally thousands of units are painted.
Yeah. What was the total again? $58,000 worth of painted models.
Assuming a unit
Yeah,
costs about $47, there was like 50 something $1,000 worth of GW product painted.
yeah.
Glorious.
That's respectable.
Yeah, very respectable, very great. I love the Hobby Progress Challenge. I hope we have that in the future. Continues
Yeah.
strong in the
I
future.
I'm not gonna say I will never participate in it, but I don't see any point in doing it because I know myself well enough to know that, well, when I feel like painting, I paint stuff, and then I like the Hellbrute. I sit down and in 2 days it's done. And sometimes I just don't feel like painting or don't have time to paint. So for me, like, okay, I could always involve myself and not care about the prizes, but you know what? I don't really feel like pushing myself because then I just feel tired. I just like to let it go the way it goes. So,
Yeah.
but for a lot of people, the Hobby Progress Challenge is just the perfect thing because they actually can structure themselves and do this month after month.
And I think a lot of it is getting feedback from others. A lot of it is the community involvement, and that really helps folks a lot. I mean, we have the podcast, so and the Facebook page, so you can get some good instant gratification from that. But I think the Hobby Progress Challenge really helps people get motivated in that other people are there to kind of cheer you on. You know.
Yeah.
We had a lot of nice games in 2014. You had a bunch of games at your club.
Yep.
I had tons of games at my club. No matter what's going on, no matter what commissions I have, I really try to make it to Monday Night Gaming. So I had a tournament, or I had a couple tournaments. I ran a campaign, the
Zorn campaign.
Zorn 4 campaign, which was nice, and it's kind of sort of continuing in a way. And we had the the event that we tied in with Haven as well.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I actually still haven't done my commitment to contribute to the Haven thing, so I'm gonna see if I can fire that up in 2015.
Right. Or just like, help continue the story at this point.
Yeah, at this time Haven is burning, so
it sure is.
I guess the forces of chaos would have moved elsewhere.
Right. Yeah. In 2015, I've got 2 campaigns I want to run. I want to run one, like I said, with J Holt Music, with Jason, doing the orcs, my Wog Drill Teeth, trying to find information about how to more forcibly summon forth Tuska. It's going to involve a lot more like demon summoning lists and stuff. And J Holt's going to bring his, like I said, his Blood Ravens, and we're going to fight over old relics of the malefic nature. And that'll be a lot of fun. And once that ends, hopefully it'll be in a way that allows me to roll it into another campaign with my buddy John, who plays Grey Knights, and the Grey Knights are going to be trying to stop me from summoning Tuska in general. So that'll be another short campaign to run. I'm also going to be bringing my small band of orcs that are kind of roaming the countryside looking for relics. We're going to call that's going to be the narrative for playing in the Combat Patrol tournament at Adepticon this year. So that's going to be my narrative focus for 2015 is the emergence of Tuska and in the hopes of building the actual Tuska army in 2016. If things turn out well, Snorre, we might be doing Tuska as the team tournament in 2016 at Adepticon.
Well, how does that work with Death Guard?
Well, no, I was actually thinking about painting 4,000 points of Tuska for 2016.
Yeah, I'm thinking if you're going to do Tuska for Adepticon, then team tournament.
We'll have to talk. We'll see how the story unfolds in these campaigns too. What else? Oh, on the show we had a lot of interaction with Steve and stuff, which was really cool. Kind of combining our narrative games and talking about them. I hope we can do that more in the future, where we can have him on.
Yeah, Steve has been kind of quiet lately. He's been posting pictures to Facebook, but even the Overlords, he's been away from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's Christmas time, It's crazy. So, speaking of Christmas time, I was really sad that there was no orc content in the Advent calendar. Can you believe that? Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
There was a bit of Tau stuff in one of the previous Advent calendars around the time when the Tau Codex came out, so I guess that was last Christmas. But yeah, orcs, I guess it's not too easy to write orc stuff. Well, you can always write it from the Imperium side, but I would like to see some more from the side of the orcs.
Yeah. So in response to that, I did Orcs Vent.
Yeah.
25 days of orc content, which
Yes.
a lot of it was me actually taking the opportunity to write the WOG Drill Teeth Codex, basically the supplements, really. But there's a lot of rules in there that have been knocking around in my brain for a long time. A lot of neat ideas that I have had that I've wanted to share with everyone, and so I've got those collected on my blog. Again, we'll put the link to the show in the show notes to the combined uh, Orcs Vent page. There's even there's some fluff in there for the army. There's also some there's I actually wrote a short story uh, about an orky short story in there, so called what is it called, Snorri? Zogwart's Choice, which is a Death Watch Sisters of Battle orcs story. I hope people like that.
Yeah. Congratulations. You're all well in your way to writing your second Fandex.
Right? Yeah, it's really kludgy. A lot of the fluff is just pulled from my blog from different time, from different blog posts. So it's a little disjointed when it comes to the fluff, but the rules are all kind of stacked in there rather nicely. You should be able to get an idea of what you're looking at. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of it was I can't believe I did it because that's insanity. I'm trying to paint these scouts and also do everything. So there were a lot of late nights involved with Orcs Vent, I'll tell you that much. But we can use them for our future shows too. Like this show, we're actually using the Diggaz rules I came up with for one of the Orcs Vent days.
Yep. And we even made lists for it.
Yes, yes, yes. I do want to mention 2014 I had a couple folks come visit from different parts of the country. I had Steve from the 13th Legion in Buffalo here actually recently this month. Uh, I met him at Du Bois GT, and he was really cool. He brought his orcs, and we fought, an orc versus orc battle. He actually plays his orcs a lot like I used to in fifth edition, where I would just like kind of be really cagey, and it's when you play orcs versus orcs, it's very much a chess game of who's going to put their chips on the table, and attempt that assault. And the problem comes in where you have bait units sprinkled around the table, and almost none of them are worth assaulting. But I'm like, you know what? We need to start this game up. So I just assaulted, got stuck in, and the game was fun. And I was glad that he came. I guess his girlfriend lives in Clifton Park, even though he's from Buffalo. So it was convenient for him to come to the house and have a game night with me and a bunch of my buddies. We also had Tim. His name is Cicero from the IC's forums. He came down for a day. We made a 40K day of it when he came down from Canada. That was a whole lot of fun. He played against J Holt Music. And we had a great time. I hope that's I try to make it a game day of it because Carl's advice from the IC's podcast about if you're gonna meet strangers from the internet, you should probably have more than one person there just in case.
Yeah.
Just in case the creepers.
Yeah, and also it's kind of how well do you know these people? How can you keep them entertained for
Right.
5-6 hours if they come down for the day? Well, you can be guaranteed that you're going to be entertained if you have a bunch of people over and
Yeah.
play games. If you're
No,
just going to
exactly.
sit in the yard and sip drinks and talk about the weather, then it's probably going to get boring after an hour.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. So, oh man, I really don't have many other like things to say about last year. I mean, we went to Du Bois, but the listeners have the listeners have heard all me talk for a long time. I just had a really great time, and I'm probably gonna go next year as long as it's in the same general time frame, and as long as my wife and I don't blow too much money when we go on our cruise for our 10-year anniversary.
Yeah. So, 2015. Do you have any
Yeah.
plans apart from Adepticon?
I do. So like I'm gonna finish up my commissions this month. I really, really need to finish them up, including the Titans. Really, I only have like trim and like details left of the on the Titans, and they're like staring at me right now. Actually, they're mocking me. They really are. John, the person I'm making them for, made a joke. I'd really like those painted up in Mechanicum colors. I'm like, yeah, you keep dreaming, pal. I owe you. I owe you for being so patient, but I don't owe you that much.
Yeah.
So yeah, those will hopefully be finished this month.
Good luck.
Yeah. So when those are done, I'm gonna do my Mephrit Dynasty formation, the Necrons. That's gonna be for February. Also in February, I'm gonna be working on a what's that? What's that Inquisition role playing game? Dark Heresy. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
I'm doing a Dark Heresy like parlor game basically for Geek Nation tours. So for the first night of the Geek Nation tours Adepticon tour, there's going to be role playing games and stuff at the tables of the dinner. So I'm going
Oh,
to
I,
be
ca- I, oh, I'm
yeah.
so looking forward to that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be running Dark Heresy. It's just gonna be a 2 or 3 hour game, just a regular, like a small game, and I've got a cool idea for it. So, I think it's basically gonna be kind of like a dinner mystery type thing, like a like kind of like
Murder
yeah, like
mystery?
Clue, like the movie Clue. It's gonna be
Yeah.
it's gonna be like a mixture of Clue and Inquisitor shenanigans. So that should be fun. I just need to write it and I need to play test it with my friends.
And you do realize that Clue is actually a board game?
Yes. Oh, I was talking about the
Thank
movie.
you.
I was talking about the movie. Sorry.
Oh, you were talking about specifics in the movie. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I was starting to get a little bit worried there.
So I think I need to promote the Star Trek Attack Wing tournament and also uh like getting better contact with them and hopefully get some folks to promote it for me. What else? What else? What else? Oh, I need to paint my orky demons for the combat patrol. So I'm gonna have to kind of do that as we go. I think that's gonna be something I'm gonna have to do kind of a little time. I still haven't decided whether I'm gonna use the fantasy orcs I have now or buy some feral orcs for that. I've been kind of wishy washy about it. I had feral orcs, and then I decided not to do the project, and I sold them. But now I'm thinking I should buy them again. I think it's going to be like 30 bloodletters, a blood reaper, and a herald of corn. So I'll only have to buy about $100 worth of feral orcs for that, and that's like retail. So I think that'll be fine.
Yeah, it can probably scrounge some bits and also help
Yeah.
cut cost in all kinds of ways.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I want to add regular like 40k orc bits to the feral orcs, just so it's obvious that they were orcs that went into the warp and came back. But I really think the feral orcs have the look I'm going for with the demons. They're kind of they look a little bit more like crazy. They you could actually look at them and say yes, they look like bloodletters, where the regular orc battalion guys just look like they're just still the regular 40k orc look, and I can slap shooters on those guys and use them as regular 40k orcs anyways. So I think I would actually rather go with the feral orcs for the Tuska project. But that's as far as I have planned, dude. I'm only planning up to Adepticon. After Adepticon, all bets are off. I'm gonna look at what I have and decide what I want to do.
Yeah. To be perfectly honest, I have no plans at all or like no specific plans at all for 2015. I'm gonna go to Adepticon. I'm going to keep playing at the club. I'm gonna work on my way through my gigantic pile of unassembled chaos stuff.
Uh-huh.
And that's pretty much as far as I want to go because I have no idea what my mood will be when it comes to modeling. If I find something else that I suddenly find so interesting that I almost drop 40k or something like that, I don't know. And I prefer to live kind of day by day and just see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
If the mood hits me, I'm gonna do some stuff, and if not, then I'm just gonna delay it like I usually do.
Right. Yeah, dude. I mean, really, what can we plan really? As far as I think after Adepticon we'll have a better idea of where we're at, because that's gonna after Adepticon I always have this time of like I need to not think about Warhammer 40,000 for a little while. you know? I need
Yeah.
to I need to reset my brain and come up with my plans for not 40k things. So yeah, I think leaving it at that is good. I think the listeners have a good I was wondering, should we talk about the project that we've been discussing since the beginning, and maybe give folks an idea of what's coming up as far as like Fandex is concerned, and start asking for input.
So you mean the Gene Stealer supplement?
Yes, the Gene Stealer supplement. So there are Gene Stealer cult codexes, Fandexes out there that people have written. But what we're thinking of doing is a modern 7th edition rendition of the Gene Stealer cult army. In whatever form it takes in the fluff. So the idea will be not to try to do Imperial Guard or Imperial Guard allied with Tyranids. It'll be to actually look at the fluff and see what a Gene Stealer cult infested society looks like, and present the units in a way that best reflects that fluff. So that's going to be our goal. What we need everyone's help with is do you have any rules that you enjoy using for your Gene Stealer cults? Do you like to use certain things to represent it? What do you think best represents it? What's your favorite thing about the Gene Stealer cult fluff that you'd like to see represented on the table?
And feel free to get creative, but can I? Is it too much to ask that? Please don't include the pimp mobiles,
Yeah.
or should we have them?
I think that maybe have like a generic transport, kind of like the Orc Battle Wagon is. You could just have like a generic Gene Stealer cult transport, and if you want it to be a limousine, that's your deal.
Gene Stealer Trabant, and yes, only German people or Europeans would probably know that.
So yeah, just give us some ideas. Drop us a few lines. Don't send us a codex. Just tell us, just tell us what you think. And we're gonna get that project rolling pretty soon. Camille has agreed to help us with the layout and stuff, so that'll be nice. But aside from that, I think the plans are to just keep trucking, keep giving you listeners what you want, and involving you in what we're doing. And I hope that we have a lot of fun. I'm sure we will.
Yeah, and let's see if we can have some creative stuff going on in our lives so that we can actually crank out a little bit of a backlog again.
Yeah, that's That's
It's
a good New Year's resolution, Snorri. Let's have a backlog.
that is actually the one thing that I would like to do. Simply because working some kind of like hand to mouth thing is kind of stressful.
Yeah, it is. It really is, especially for you because you're the one doing the editing. I think
Yeah.
after Battle of the Fang episode, we should look at our ideas box and shake it and see what comes out, and we'll record some segments.
Hopefully more than Cobweb comes out.
Yeah. Well, are you ready to talk about Diggaz, Snorri?
Yeah.
All right. I think it's past time. We'll be right back. Hey, Masters of the Forge listeners, are you looking to expand your Warhammer 40,000 gaming group?
Do you want to start a 40k club in your area?
Do you want the people you attract to be like-minded mofos?
Do you want to advertise your YouTube channel?
Or even attract more subscribers to your hobby blog or online community?
Then what better way than to advertise on the Masters of the Forge podcast?
All we ask of you is that you email us at mastersoftheforge@gmail.com or message us on Facebook with a full text of your advertisement, including the region in which you live and any contact information people can use to get a hold of you.
We will have one of our many tech servitors read your advertisement on the air. Promise not to make fun of you.
Though we can't always predict the actions of our servitors, you really can't find good help these days.
No, you can't. Alright, welcome back, and today our topic are the Diggaz. This is a topic that I've been wanting to talk about for a pretty long time. In fact, these are some old show notes. This is back when we thought that our Many Faces of the Astra Militarum episode was going to be one episode, not a series. So this is a part of our Many Faces of the Astra Militarum series, even though we're not really using the Astra Militarum Codex. It's really all about using Yumis for different methods for different paradigms. So and
like
one of those
meat shields.
Yeah, meat
Oh wait,
shields.
that's nothing new.
You certainly could use the Astra Militarum Codex to represent the Diggaz, but more on that later. First, let's discuss the background. This is about 6 or 7 months ago. I got a book from a friend at the game store who was just kind of selling stuff, some old stuff that he had come across, and one of those was the Diggaz supplement for Gorka Morka. I was ecstatic. I had no idea there was a whole supplement based on this faction. It's called Diggaz, actually. It's got a picture of a human dressed up to look like an orc on it, and he's going crazy, and he's got this shaman next to him, and it looked really fun, and I bought it from him for $10, and I gobbled up that supplement, and I thought it was really cool, and I've always kind of in the back of my mind wanted to do a Diggaz army or a allied contingent for my orcs. Back when in 6th edition, when the Imperial Guard were desperate allies, this was a lot easier than it is now. A lot of the orc ally matrix has been reduced to come the apocalypse or something like that. So it's tough. It can be tough. So.
And that's when you decide that it's like, yeah, whatever, let's just make a new Orc Codex entry and just copy the stats mostly from Astra Militarum.
Yeah, because that's what we do.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be more complicated than that either.
Yeah. If you can get your grubby mitts on this Gorka Morka supplement, Diggaz, on the eBays or from someone else, you should. It's written by Gav Thorpe, which is interesting. It's an interesting little factoid. It's really fun. I would love to see what else he came up with, because it's super metal. I love it. So I'll get us started off. So Diggaz, it's orc for burrowing pests. They were an example of feral humans imitating the orc way of life and death in a most violent coexistence with the greenskins. Survivors of a cataclysmic impact and stranded beneath the surface of a dead world, they had technologically and intellectually degenerated into infighting primitive raiders in an isolated situation requiring extreme measures to survive. After some of them found their way to the surface, they recognized the orcs dominating the surface as the ultimate survivors and began imitating their demeanor, tech, and tactics, earning a measure of fear and respect by means of unlikely resources from the bowels of the planet.
The dead world of Angelus, located on the edge of the northeastern fringe of Segmentum Ultima, quite far from the Astronomicon, was surveyed by the Imperial vessel Eternal Vigilance in M35, crewed by an Imperial explorator team headed by one chief orbologist Luteus Vox. Nice title,
Well done.
Chief
Well done.
Orbologist.
Yeah, I want to be a chief orbologist.
They discovered then unknown Xenos pyramid structures underneath the desert surface, but in the middle of their investigation, a Space Hulk transferred mid-system and collided with Angelus, the impact instantly wiping the surface of the barren world of most life, including much of the human crew, as well as forever impacting the geography and climate of the already desolate world, turning it into a post-apocalyptic, irradiated hellscape and blotting out the sun for a decade with clouds of dust. The violent entry of the Space Hulk also engulfed the system in warp storms for years to come. Even worse, the payload of the derelict vessel quickly spread across the surface. Orcs.
Woo! Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. No matter how violent the impact is, spores are gonna get out.
Yeah.
Orcs will happen. It
Yeah,
doesn't
and-
matter.
And if you want to see the effects of what it means to have a Space Hulk just show up, just watch those flash animations. The first Space Hulk flash animation that you can find on the internet. And I think there's like no warp-born space turds all day. Things are looking great. And then the Space Hulk shows up and is like, oh, there goes my day.
Only the ancient Xenos catacombs and structures offered shelter from the cataclysm to the human ground crew, and thus a fraction of the Imperial Explorer team survived. Additionally, part of the spaceborne crew of the Eternal Vigilance also found their way to the ravaged surface, only to develop gross mutations and soon become known to the orcs as the fearsome Muty faction. But those who dwelled in the underground degenerated into feral gangs, struggling against each other for survival. Unexpectedly, one of those gangs, called the Junkers, somehow managed to reawaken and gain a measure of control over a sizable force of then unknown Xeno combat automata, which would later be known to the Imperium as Necrons. With those strange and terrifying weapons at their disposal, the Junkers ended the infighting, unified the catacomb-dwelling human gangs, and headed for the surface. This bit of fluff has such crazy implications for the, modern Necron fluff that I think GW would be happy for it to disappear, to be perfectly honest. Can you imagine having the ability to take control of Necron warriors and use them for your benefit?
Yeah, so basically they compress the back-end FTP circuit and that should generate the PCI transmitter?
Yes! That's exactly how did you know? I mean, that's
Yeah, well, obviously they found out.
No, it's really funny. It's really cool. I love this piece of the fluff.
Just the concept of hacking the Necrons, there's just all kinds of wrong, but this is really old Games Workshop stuff.
Mhm.
Things didn't really make sense in certain ways. They probably
Hack
didn't
the
care
dynasty! Hack the dynasty!
Yeah, there we go. Although initially unimpressed and intent on enslaving the Diggaz from below like lowly grots, The orc mobs soon learned to fear the Junker's greatest weapon of retaliation. Necron warriors slaughtered warbands of orcs so violently that they now refuse to approach the Digger warrens they call Drekar Murguk Dreksniglag, or something like that, which basically translates to that place where one can't escape death. By this point, the Diggaz were so thoroughly devolved after a decade of brutal, lightless struggle for bare-bones survival that they ended up imitating the now dormant species on Angelus, adapting to the orky way of life and soon resembling them so much more than what they once had been, imperial citizens and pioneers.
Yes. Yeah, the orcs, so they came up and they noticed that this dominant species was basically surviving on almost nothing. So they realized, humans are very adaptable in actuality. So in Diggaz society, they've integrated themselves as best they can into the orc society. The different Digga mobs are all competitors in wreck and junk salvage, raiding and thief trading, and also smashing some heads together to get them. This even extends to the point where the Diggaz attempt to look like the greenskins, including harnesses to make themselves appear larger and very socially unacceptable green face. Like the Diggaz' entire existence in an orc society as anything but slaves relies almost entirely on their usefulness. The Diggaz' need for salvage is so great that they've grown to revere it to a point. Their shamans have developed a special sixth sense for finding technology called the ceremony of searching. So it's you almost get this idea that there's some kind of psychic thing going on here with some of these characters. Like you use dowsing rods to find technology buried and stuff like that.
And to have humans actually almost out looting orcs, that's kind of scary.
Yeah. Humans kind of looting for orcs and being orcs and putting on very socially unacceptable green face,
Yeah. So how about making these Diggaz your Diggaz instead of just the official story, if you can call this official?
Yeah.
in terms of age. Although there is a specific history to the Digga mobs in Gorka Morka, that is not to say that similar tribes do not exist throughout the Imperium. There's thousands of planets that have been orcified over the centuries and millennia, I guess. And, space hulks and rocks show up all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, some of them are going to hit some planet. Rocks are built to hit planets.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure this is not a unique situation.
No, it's not. And there have been stories like when I read Yarick, Chains of Golgotha by David Annandale, like the orcs had put some humans in charge of the human slaves. There's some humans that hold higher positions in orc society than just slave. And it's an interesting paradigm.
Yeah, human enforcers probably are the bigger and the more brutal of the humans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, it's a matter of survival for everyone.
Yeah.
You just need to think about a way in which your Diggaz have earned the respect or fear of orcs and ingratiated themselves upon the greenskins. Humans, contrary to the beliefs of some, are extremely adaptable and are quick learners. They are socially malleable, warm-blooded survivors.
It's true. That is what we are. We were born from a global climate change event that required that we be adaptable to any kind of situation and to take advantage of any kind of situation in order to survive. And that is what we do.
And since you brought up the Matrix earlier, I think that Agent Smith's speech in the first movie is kind of interesting. How we are a disease that has spread across the universe, infecting and then using up the resources and then just moving on. Yeah, I like that. We will probably kill off half the universe, but we will do it in order to survive.
Yeah. So, much of a story could also develop around a unique orc warlord who might treat your Diggaz differently for whatever reason. So, like for my Wog, for Wog Drillteeth, Mad Doc, he's simply wary of dealing with all the Umi slaves he's collected on his conquests. He's put the control of the Digga mobs in the hands of his weird boys, who in turn leave it to the Digga shamans to keep the Diggas under control. Instead of spending time and like effort dealing with Yumi slaves, the Yumis are more than happy to govern themselves while toiling for the orcs. Of course, that's not to say that the orcs don't discipline the Diggas or otherwise interact with them, but this arrangement is far more efficient than having to guard ranks of slaves all day. So, like, just kind of just changing the Diggas, like changing the humans' attitude is his goal, and like just making them a part of the society gives them a lower class, like a almost a what's the word for a caste of society that's below the orcs, that gets work done that orcs don't feel like doing themselves, that are too repetitive, and that they're maybe the Gretchen, maybe it would almost be a Gretchen level, but it's more dominating another species as well, which probably gives them kind of a thrill.
I'm I'm actually, when you're saying a Gretchen level, I'm guessing you're actually selling yourself a little bit short here on where you should actually put these guys, because you have orcs on top, and then you have the Gretchens, which are smaller orcs, then you have the Snotlings, which are just annoying, and then you should have the Diggers, if you ask me, because they should be lowest of the low on the low rank. Or maybe they are above Snotlings, because Snotlings are basically just good for pounding on and using as shock attack ammo.
Yeah, pretty much, dude.
I guess they're basically like the job the Gretchens just wrinkle their nose and goes like, eh. That's what the Diggers are doing.
Yep. And it's also good, like Gretchen are only smart enough to do certain things. So sending out, having Diggaz available to perform more complex tasks that the orcs don't feel like doing and the Gretchen can't do is also a good point. So like in the actual Gorka Morka fluff, it's the Diggaz who douse for technology and try to find technology and repair it and sell it to the orcs for teeth. And they've have an understanding of, like, how technology works, so they can drive around in their buggies and shoot big guns and stuff. So I think they have a place. It's just a question of where it is in the fluff in your story.
And once your Diggers are integrated into your orc society, it should be a short jump to military service. Of course, you could say that the Diggers have been forced into service on the battlefield by the brutal orcs. However, that may be too heavy-handed. Humans universally revere loyalty as a virtue, and if they've been living among orcs for a long time, it is safe to assume that personality trait will take over.
Yeah, it's the if a human society becomes used to a certain way of life, they're just going to accept it as their way of life and just proceed to survive.
Yeah.
If they're used to living among orcs and they're used to the rules involved with orc behavior, and if it's if that's the way they're going to survive, then that's what they're going to do. If they're, even if that means serving in their military or whatever.
Which I just find the concept of a orc military weird, simply because
It is.
don't all orcs just love to fight in some way or the other? So
Exactly.
it's like it's not a military force. It's just like a way of life.
Right. And if a human looking at orc society and how it works, if they see like bosses and knobs getting positions of power and like preferential treatment because they are successful in battle and they're big and they can thump people and take leadership roles. I think humans growing up in that society might try to emulate that and want to be involved in the fighting so that they also can have a better, more comfortable life. which is basically how it works in Orc society.
Yeah. You can break down the Diggaz into different segments of society. You have on top, pretty much, the Digganobs, which are Diggaz sergeants in charge of small mobile warbands of scavengers. You have the Shamans, who are Diggaz psychers, whose powers often center around fighting and scavenging for tech. Then you have the Digga Boys, which are regular Digga troops. You have the Digga Youths, which are inexperienced and headstrong Diggers. And you have the Junkas, who are Diggers with a very keen sense of technology.
Yeah, and it's the Junkas who are kind of apart from this pecking order. They're like above it. The Junkas are almost revered as gods sometimes by the Diggaz. Not by the most canny of the Diggaz, but they're a very important part of Digga society, the Junkas. They're the ones who really made it possible to survive by bringing forth the Necrons.
But in a way, that's also reflecting the Orc society, isn't it? Because Orcs, they love their machines, and they need mech boys to make them.
Yeah, in a way, like, and that's one of the things about Wog Drill Teeth that I think, some might look at my fluff and say that really isn't how Orc society works. Like, it's usually, well, the biggest is the winner, right? But if you have a bunch of mad boys, or not mad boys, if you have a bunch of odd boys who are building big stompy vehicles and stuff, and those big stompy vehicles are able to pound a war boss into paste, then by proxy, it is possible for odd boys to start taking over a Wog, or
odd
yeah,
boy?
like mech boys. Well, like in my case, it's a pain boy. Right.
Okay,
so
yeah.
odd. Sorry, I should say that odd boys are basically orcs who also do other tasks like mechs and pain boys and weird boys and stuff. So in a certain way, as long as they're cunning enough, they can actually develop like wogs of their own. So we came up during Orcs event. I came up with rules to play Diggaz. Obviously, you can use Imperial Guard. There's nothing stopping you. You can use cultists. You can use the new Lost and the Damned rules from Imperial Armor. Was it 18?
13.
19? 13?
Yeah,
right.
The Renegades.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, using the Renegade, as long as you don't use, you keep in mind what you're trying to create. Don't use certain things. But yeah, I came up with some rules. So the Diggaz start off as, well, they're elites, by the way. This is an elite unit in an orc army. I was thinking about doing a cool formation with these guys. To give them some cool, like maybe some special rules if you take a bunch of squads of Diggaz. That might be something we do in the future. So anyways, they're infantry. The Digganob, Junka, Shaman, and Doc are infantry characters. They start off with 10 Diggaz for 50 points. The war gear they come with default is las gun, las pistol. The Junka starts with Mech's tools. In addition, the Doc gets an Erdy syringe, and the Digganob starts with the Digganob's boss pole.
The Diggaz have some special rules too. Loots. Diggaz enjoy the objective secured rule whenever troops in their detachment also gain objective secured. Beneath Us, which is a unit of Diggaz, is treated as an ally of convenience to all other orc units, including other Diggaz. The Shamans are Psychers, level 1, and Junkas are stubborn. The Digganob's boss pole also means that before rolling to rally, you may allocate 1d6 strength 4 AP- wounds to non-Digganobs and regroup instantly. If the Digganob is the only model left and there are still wounds to allocate, the Digganob is removed as a casualty.
Yeah, he basically gets run down.
Yeah, I guess he keeps on punching people until he realizes he's actually punching himself.
Or there's no one left to punch. I have no one left to punch. There's a lot of options involved with it's very much like a Astra Militarum infantry mob. You can add up to additional 30 Diggaz for 5 points each for a total of like 40 in a unit. You can obviously upgrade to Digganob, Junka, or Doc or Shaman for between 10 and 20 points. You can replace any model in the unit can replace their las gun with either a Choppa or a Shuta. The Shuta is an additional point. I thought this would be interesting to add like kind of an assault version of make it you can make it an assault version if you want, or you can mix and match. So it says any model. So it's basically allowing you to take models that you have and kind of build this mishmash of like what's the name of that movie? Thunderdome, whatever. Sorry,
Mad
Mary.
Max?
Can you Mad Max? Sorry. So it basically lets you take this Mad Max group of miniatures and make a cool unit out of it. So any model can also replace their las pistol with either a Choppa for free or a Slugga for 1 point. So they can basically have strength 4 pistols for a point.
Yeah, let's just clarify, the Shuta and the Slugga is 1 point per model, because that becomes a little bit important when we come to the next point. All models in the unit may take stick bombs for a total of 10 points, period.
Yes. Yeah, it after the first like 10 guys, it starts to become a little cost prohibitive to have to give them frag grenades. It's a fair price, I think, 10 points for the whole unit. So if you take a minimum unit, you're paying 10 points, and if you're buying a giant unit, it's also 10 points.
Yeah. The Digganob and the Junka may replace their last pistol with one of the following: Power Claw for 20 points per model, or a Power Mace for 10 points per model, or a Big Choppa for 5 points per model.
Yep, this is it goes again. The points are a little lower for these than with the orcs, but with the lower strength and everything, it's kind of makes sense that it should be a little bit cheaper.
Yeah. 2 models in 10 may be replaced with a looted Imperial heavy weapon team, and the cost of that varies because it's the same cost as in the Astra Militarum book.
Yep, you want to read that down there. There's a special rule.
Yeah. Now their special rule for the looted heavy weapon team is that this weapon is as per the Astra Militarum heavy weapon team upgrade, but using the stats of the Diggaz. The heavy weapons of a looted heavy weapon team have the Gets Hot special rule. I guess it's poorly maintained equipment, and also they don't really know how to operate it after a while.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah, exactly.
So I guess they can easily fire a stubber, but when you do that using a wrench by banging on the weapon, it's kind of going to explode at some point, most likely.
Yep. Good thing they have 2 wounds.
Yeah. The Digganob and the Junka may take Melta-Bombs at 5 points per model, and the Junka may replace his last gun with either a custom Mega Slugga for 15 points, a custom Mega Blasta for 5 points, or a Killsaw for 25 points.
Yeah. So the Shaman can replace his las gun with a Force Staff for 10 points, and the unit can select a truck as a dedicated transport. If the unit contains a Junka, you can select a looted wagon as a transport instead. I would also say I have some rules in Orcs Vent for a Propa looted vehicle, and I would say that you should also allow them to take that as a dedicated transport as well. We won't get into the Propa looted vehicle today.
Yeah, which Orcs Vent day was that?
That was Orcs Vent Day 4. It's basically the old looted vehicle upgraded to 7th edition, where you basically took any vehicle in 40k and made it orky by the rules. So you're like, I'm going to take my Land Raider and make it orky, or I'm going to take my Lehman Russ and make it orky, or I'm going to take my Eldar Warwalker and make it orky. Like, it allowed you to go through and take whatever you wanted.
Scout Speeder.
Yeah, Scout Speeder, absolutely. Wave Serpent, sure. So it's really interesting. Give it a look see. I think it's a lot of fun.
Wave Serpent.
Both of us have used these rules to make lists. Now, the lists that we made could easily be replaced with Astra Militarum or whatever, or using Gretchen rules or whatever you feel like doing. But we're going to use these because they're fun.
Yep. First off, me.
Yeah.
Mine is Mechboy Vice Krumpa's Custom Yumi Lutas. 750 points of Zone Mortalis attack force. My HQs are a Mechboy in Mega Armor, and he's my Warlord. No upgrades. And also...
No need.
Yeah. I don't really feel that I needed too many upgrades either. And you also have a Weird Boy who's upgraded to a level 2 Psyker.
Mhm.
I have a squad of 10 Diggaz with Shooters and Choppers, and they have a Digger Knob with Big Chopper and a Shooter, a Dock with a Chopper and Kill Saw, and a Junker with a Killer Claw and a custom Mega Slugger. And they are the bodyguards of the Big Mech.
Yeah, they sound awesome, dude. They got the shooters, they got a Digger Knob in there, they got the Feel No Pain, they're gonna shoot dudes. This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, and they're mostly there to be the last defense in case something gets too close to Big Mech Boy.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 2 units of 10 Diggers with Sluggers and Choppers. They have a Digger Knob with a Big Chopper, and one of the squads has a Junker with a Killer Claw and custom Mega Slugger, and the other squad has a Dock with a Chopper and Kill Saw. These are the looters.
Nice, yeah. And they'll be really good. It's good that you added those claws and kill saws because in Zone Mortalis it's important to be able to carve doors open if you need to.
Yeah. And rounding off the list is 3 Killicans. The boss of these 3 Killicans has extra armor and a custom Mega Blaster. The other 2 have Scorches, and they all have Grot Riggers.
That's a cool little unit you got there.
Yeah. So now this isn't just a bunch of stuff on the table. This is actually a looter squad. And the idea was basically Mech Boy, who's rounded some Humies around himself to do looting for him so he can bling out his Mega Armor.
Yeah!
And he needs a Weird Boy to help keep these Diggers in line.
Mm.
But he also needs a Weird Boy to jumpstart his Mega Armor every now and then. So, there's claws to chop stuff up, there's people who can run around and kill anything that tries to steal his loot, and there's some killer cans to help carve up stuff.
Yeah, dude, this is and help carry stuff back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this list. I can imagine this list being representing like a group of Diggaz who have been sent to basically take apart either a Space Hulk in space or a crashed Space Hulk or
Army base,
yeah, stuff like that.
Like, yeah, we'll just start cutting up the walls to get the wires, metal plates, anything. Basically, I think these guys will just strip anything down to its bare minimum and then take off.
Yeah, there's a lot of these guys out in the American Southwest right now who who take apart houses for their wiring. A lot of this
Seriously?
going on. Actually, not so much right now, but back during the housing bubble burst, so many entire neighborhoods were left unoccupied, and
Yeah, I know.
the people who built the houses would come back, and they've been stripped of all their copper. Crazy, but yeah, that's these guys. Nice list, dude. Love it.
Thanks.
My list is a Wog Drill Teeth scavenging party. I decided to go with a 1,500 point list.
I see something of a theme here.
Yeah, yep. But we're actually following the fluff. What? So, I've got 2 units of boys in trucks. They've got Power Claw and in the knob with a boss pole. And they're in trucks, and one of them has a mech, and one of them has a Weird Boy. Then we have 17 boys with the boss knob, Power Claw, a boss pole. But with him is Big Mech Dreadnuts. I've been meaning to build this model for to paint this model for a long time, and I'm gonna have to soon because he's been kind of featuring himself quite a bit in my games. He's the big mech who creates all of the stompiest stuff in Wog Jolteef. He's the one who builds Stompas and cans and Def Dreads and stuff. Anyways, I gave him a custom force field and a boss pole, and I get Finda and the Dead Shiny Shuda relic, which is a really cool gun that you can use. He also has his own battle wagon with a reinforced ram, and those boys go in there. Now, along with them are 10 Diggaz in a truck. They have a Junka with them. He's got a custom Mega Slugga and Meltabombs. Then I have another 20 Diggaz with a Shaman and with a Force Staff, a Junko with a Kill Saw and Meltabombs. I don't know why. I'm just crazy like that. A Dock, and a Diganob. That's just a big unit of Diggaz, and I stuffed them in a weird looking battle wagon. Along with that,
did you
sorry,
forget,
go ahead.
Did you forget the truck for the first 10?
No, oh yeah, the first 10 Diggaz, they have a dedicated truck transport for sure with a rocket launch and a reinforced ram. And along with them, we have a squad of war buggies, 2 Scorches, 3 buggies, 1 with a rocket. So I think the idea is that those war buggies would be modeled to be Diggaz, to be Digga war buggies rather than Orc war buggies. So this is kind of representing how Jolteef would field Diggaz. They'd be kind of alongside the orcs as part of the scavenging party, all mobile, looking for loot, looking for scrap to fuel the inevitable wog forward. And again, with my list, we have the weird boy there to kind of keep things under control, and also like a lot of my lists, like I was saying before, are gonna have the weird boys there searching for things for clues to summoning forth Tuska.
And I'm just seeing war buggies running around shooting stuff, and then the rest of the guys just pouring over it, killing any survivors, looting the spare parts, and just like passing it on so that they can build more Stompas.
Yeah. Like this 1,500 point list has a lot of trucks and battle wagons. Was it 2 battle wagons and 3 trucks? Yeah, 2 battle wagons and 3 trucks, and they're just gonna load whatever's left in the back of the trucks and drive off with it. And that's pretty much where I'm going with this. And the buggies too. Like you can just imagine, like the buggies have like little flatbeds in the back they can pour stuff in.
Red paint? No red paint job?
No red paint job because that's me being rulesy. It's just not very good anymore. Yeah, it's just not very good. So we've got 2 lists. How would we go about fielding this on the table, like model-wise, hobby-wise?
Well, you could either dig up some original Gorka Morka Diggaz on certain internet auction sites, but they go for anything from $10 to $25 per model.
Oh, so
not cheap.
Expensive. No, not cheap, but they do look really, really cool, though. I really want to pick up some models.
They do have some of that early to mid 90s kind of comedy look to it, the weird look,
the metal look,
and yes, they're all metal. But it works okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't want to do that, you can always do fantasy battle, chaos, barbarians, flagellants, or zombies. Yeah. And slap in some orc bits here and there to just give it the look. And also Necromunda Goliath gangers work well.
Yeah, that's true. And anybody who's an orc player has Shudas and Choppas and Sluggas laying around. I've got so many Shudas, Choppas, and Sluggas, I don't even know what to do with all of them. So, like, for Wog Jolteef, I actually, for me, I plan on buying Catechin models. And they're basically going to be, because it's like they're so stupid, right? Like they're so comically buff and big armed and ridiculous, that I think it actually works for humans who grew up in orc society. Only the strongest would survive, you know?
So in a way, that's actually a really good thing.
Yeah, I mean, as for hopefully they'll continue to support that part of the line, because I would just I'm probably just gonna buy a bunch of catechins, give them some boss poles, give them some orc bits, and give them like green face paint, and they'll be my Diggaz.
And that's actually when you touched on something I was thinking of when you're talking about green face. Painting them up as regular humans and then just using green wash on top of it.
Now that might work.
And just not like covering everything, but leave some regular bare skin spots. But most of it is just like they try to rub on some green stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So there are a couple good vehicles that you can use. Like the orc trucks and everything are great. If you want to go crazy, I saw the Tauros assault vehicle from Forge World is a really cool, very Digga looking buggy that you could use with a few orc bits. Would be amazing to use as like counts as either Digga buggies or Digga trucks or both.
Yeah,
I think that would be awesome.
I really like the Tauros Venator. With dual the one with 2 axles in the back, the big last cannon on it, and just take off the last cannon. You have the flatbed, and just stick bunch of guns and some armor plates here and there. That would be awesome.
Yeah, leave the turret, like magnetize the turret, and put big shooters or rockets on there for buggies, or remove the turret to use it as a truck. It's absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect for how I see Diggaz going across the desert or whatever. It's really cool.
I would say that the Venator isn't actually too badly priced compared to the non-Venator. There's like the basic Taurus. The price difference is almost nothing.
Right, and you're not going to get a ton of them. I mean, if you want to do it right, just do it right. I definitely plan on doing something like this for my Digga army. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go. I'll probably use my special rules sometimes. I'll probably also use actual Astra Militarum rules other times. I would love to show up at Adepticon with a full Digga Astra Militarum army. I have a whole squad of Leman Russ waiting to be orcified. So. Maybe someday.
You're not planning to orcify one of those Warhammer Fantasy land ships that Forge World makes?
What?
Oh, you haven't seen those?
No.
Go to Forge World and Warhammer Forge and then Empire, I think it is. No, it's not. It's basically a big sailboat with the wheels on them. No, I don't think they have them anymore. No, they don't. That is such a shame.
All right, I just did a Google search for Warhammer land ship, and wow, yeah, that looks glorious.
Yeah, it would have been so awesome to have that thing with just orcs all over the place with Daka and armor plates and all the things that make it orky.
Oh, I love that. I need to get my grubby mitts on one of those. Well, I think that we've presented the Diggaz in a new light for folks who didn't know much about them, and I think that it would be a lot of fun to play with them on a tabletop. Kind of adding that orky brutal whimsy to a human army. I think this is a good way to bounce back from our Metasode and also Christmas / holiday break with some nice fluff for the listeners.
Washing that dirty feeling off ourselves after that attempted Christmas special.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's stop for a break and come back and close out the show.
Interested in the offbeat world of 40K? Is your bits box full of 20-year-old space elves? Have you ever searched for something out of production 40K on eBay? Well, hold on to your zotes and head over to Corsair Radio. It covers the full scope of the hobby, homebrew rules, fluff, campaigns, oddball models, and more. From Terra to the Eye of Terror, visit us at corsairradio.blogspot.com. That's corsairradio.blogspot.com.
And with that, I think we're ready to wrap this thing up.
Yes, wrap it up. It was nice to get back into the virtual gender-neutral cave to get another show recorded and get this thing moving for 2015.
Yeah. It hasn't felt half as stressful as previous recordings. I actually feel really good now.
Well, let me know how you feel after you're done editing.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think that's going to be easy. It's been a good recording, too.
Yes, it has. Only a few F-bombs and Star Trek Attack Wing references. So please visit us on Facebook, Masters of the Forge on Facebook, and also on our blog, mastersoftheforge.com.
And we have a Twitter page, which Adam maintains, at Masters of Forge.
Mm-hmm. Also, please give us some nice reviews on iTunes, and please give us the rating we deserve, which is 5 stars.
Yeah, okay. If you think that highly of us, then sure. Actually, I'm pretty sure that we have received quite a few of those.
It was nice.
Simply because, well, apparently, for some weird reason, people actually enjoy listening to us talk on for hours and hours and hours about stuff we have no clue about, but we know.
Oh, we have a clue. Don't
we
be
have an
so
opinion.
Don't be so self-aggrandizing?
Deprecating?
Self-deprecating, thank you. I don't even know what aggrandizing means.
So, we still haven't heard from Forge World or Games Workshop, so I guess we're not that good yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not good enough for them to hate us, so that's good.
Yeah.
You know, I bet some of them listen to us. Maybe.
It would have been fun, but I'm pretty sure they can't admit to working for us, them or listening to us or whatever, because
you know what's funny?
That's problematic.
I actually sent our Battlefleet 40K rules to Fantasy Flight, and I was like, hey guys, we did this thing, and they're like, yeah, we can't read. As you can imagine, we can't read or comment on any rules anybody comes up with, yada yada yada. I'm like, oh, well, I can't imagine that, but I guess apparently, I guess there's some issues if people send an unsolicited stuff. There's a worry that if they use it, they'll get in trouble, like they'll get sued or something. I hate the world when it comes to that sort of thing because we're just having fun. I'm not gonna sue anybody if they use our rules. No, I'm not gonna sue anybody. I don't care. We don't own the copyright.
No, and the only thing that we are a little bit protective about, even though I don't think lawyers will be involved, is the whole, well, if you start charging to let people listen to our podcast, then that's going to piss us off. But, apart from that, have fun. Just don't abuse the podcast, please.
Yeah, don't make it, don't do remixes of my voice and say that I'm saying things I'm not. Right? Yeah, so, all right, well, I guess next week we'll be doing Battle of the Fang.
Episode, please. I hope we're not doing that in a week.
Next episode, we're going to be doing Battle of the Fang. Please read up on that, because we're going to spoil the ever-loving daylights out of that book. But until then...
Play the game the way you're not supposed to?
The way you want to.
This podcast is protected by the Creative Commons Attribution, No Derivatives, Non-Commercial International License. More information about this license and contact information if you have any requests can be found at our blog, mastersoftheforge.com. The music used in this podcast was made by Podod of the duo Sublevel 3. The track is used with his permission.
Both of us have used these rules to bake to make to bake. Both of us have used
You're
these
baked.
rules. I think I might be.